Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I once again welcome you all to the 6th Cyber and Data Security Summit 2022. To begin with the evening session, I would like to invite our esteemed panelists to the third panel discussion session to be moderated by Dr. Deepak Kumar Sahu, Editor-in-Chief, VAR India. Over to Dr. Sahu.
Let me introduce to the panel. We have four guests. The topic of the panel discussion is how to mitigate fraud in a digital world. So we have the panelist among us, Mr. Kapil Mehrotra, Group CTO, National Capital Management Services Limited, Mr. Upkar Singh, Vice President IT, RMSI, Mr. Srinivas Patnakar, Chief Security Consultant, Softshell Technologies, and Jagannath Sahu, Head Service Delivery, Cyber Security, Managed Security Services, Airtel Business, and we have two more guests are going to join in between them, Mr. Chandrakant Kamath, VP IT, Barclays Bank PLC, and Satish Kumar Divyansi, Senior Vice President CISO in Mobi Group. So let me introduce about the panel discussion, the topic. The theme is, I already mentioned, that is how to mitigate fraud in the digital world. To introduce about the theme, as cybercrime becomes more sophisticated, business will have to stay one step ahead. Protecting a business against cyber attacks is costly and can implement the relationship between the company and its customer. Stolen credentials are being used in constructing completely synthetic identities for obtaining loans and conducting fraudulent online transactions. There is surge in the quantum of phishing emails. These emails are designed to prompt you to click links provided within the email to verify or change your accounts in some way. Often the links concluded in the email are ways for fraudsters to install malicious software, those are called malware, onto the computer or device you use to access your email. This malware can be used to obtain personal information, as you know all. Secondly, the retail sector has always been an attractive target for cyber attacks with its complement distributed IT environment, including a multitude of connected point of sales devices, relatively transit and non-technical workforce, and access to a wide range of personal and financial customer data. The impact of pandemic introduced additional security challenges that cyber criminals were quick to exploit. There are all kinds of malware that can get into system through downloads or straight hacking. So as you know all, we're all security professional, tech professional we have. To start with, what is your take on organizations attack surfaces are increasing? I will start with Upkar.
Yeah, thank you, Deepak ji, and thank you for having me here. And very interesting subject during this pandemic times, Deepak ji. You know, as business began offering more remote work option, their attack surfaces grew concurrently with their dispersed workforce. We are witnessing that, right? Yeah. And to that, with increased reliance on this public cloud services and vulnerable enterprise VPN, many of these large organizations not using zero trust security are becoming more vulnerable to network intrusion attacks. This is what we are witnessing. And the most common attack surface is trending by geography and company size, with industries like most vulnerable to public cloud exposure, malware, ransomware, and data breaches. And as the organization grow, adopt new capabilities, and use new technologies, they may not realize that they are changing their attack surface. Some of the ways they do so include moving to the cloud, where migrating to the cloud offers great flexibility, scalability, and efficiency. But cloud security is managed very differently than on-premise storage, and the attack surface changes dramatically. The other factor is decentralization of work. While remote work has provided many short-term and newly recognized long-term benefit, it brings with its new challenges because the digital attack surface is now widened to every employee's home internet connection, right? And the last, I think, point I would like to mention is shifting left. We have been observing that many of the organizations have shifted left to more rapidly iterate and deploy applications in agile way of working, mostly in this ITS service kind of organization. But while this approach may speed up the pipelines, quick deliveries, but at the same time, it also allows for the chances of mistake and vulnerabilities are getting exposed. So this is my take on this.
Wonderful. So, Kapil, do you agree with Mr. Upkar?
Yeah. Whatever Upkar said, it's totally relevant. And I like to add in this, see, attack surface now these days increased, and we know still email spamming, email phishing attack is still number one. But whenever we talk for the attack surface, we have to understand the digital ecosystem of an organization, first of all, why they are targeted. Reason is why I'm saying this, why I'm using this term digital ecosystem. Reason is because only computers are not targeted. Your network is targeted. Your operation, your people, everything is targeted because the hackers now these days are doing a lot of research before they are attacking on you. So you have to first of all recognize your digital assets. What all the digital assets are lying on your network or internet or publicly available. So they are the soft target, because if you are giving piece of cake available all across, they can basically use any backdoor and they can come in your surface and attack. Right. So to understand, first of all, your ecosystem, because we always miss this point, we always buy a best of the best security tool and implement. And post that also, we get compromised. You name the company like Google, Facebook, everybody. Why they got compromised? Because they don't have control on their assets. Okay. That is why these surface attacks are very common, where what they do, they penetrate your any one desktop, one server, which you maybe 7, 10 years, 15 years back, you have bought it and still on a cloud accessible, or credential, some employee credential got compromised. He made on his email ID and his email ID got, so there are so many research you will find across that those are the touch points where they got compromised. So how do you basically ensure it? Because recon is first thing you have to basically every time recon it. How many assets you have, how many are patched, how many are not patched, so that you can first level of surface attack avoid. Coming to the next point, wherein like still, as I mentioned, email phishing attack is the number one, because I can basically touch your mentality. I can basically get your sympathy one day by my email, where you can click on I can install malware, right? And installing malware, because now these days so many type of upgraded malwares, ransomwares are coming, and they are basically their lateral movement is so high, right? So I mean, once they enter, they will keep penetrating, and they will one day find unpatched desktop, laptop, or server, and that will be the D-Day for you, basically, to attack. So these all are things like we have to take care. First of all, recon and of all the old or new assets, and planning for the surface attack has to be planned in a way so that because you cannot implement everything in a one day. You cannot, I can guarantee. But you can build a 2-year, 3-year plan so that you can basically start addressing your vulnerabilities one by one and avoid surface attacks.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Sir, I want to add here. The question is whether surface attack is increasing. Yes, it is increasing. It is not increasing. It is increasing like heavily. Okay, every day we are getting some or other. Since I am handling so many customers, I am able to understand how many what are happening to every customers. Okay, both of them told exactly. I would just want to summarize what are the top threats we have as of now. So I feel ransomware is top threats. ransomware, they'll put some malicious software and they will encrypt your data. And nowadays ransomware version 2 also we are talking. Okay. Because first time they will ask money. Second time also they will ask ransom money. Second top threat, whatever we have is phishing. Phishing. We will discuss more on phishing also. Third is data leakage. So although we have all solutions, so these are the problem statements I'm telling. After that I'll tell you what are the possible solution we're supposed to use, and with the COVID situation, with the remote working situation, with the hybrid situations. So number one, ransomware. Number two, phishing. Number two, data leakage. Number four, hacking. The hackers are more technically sound than the blue team. So hackers are red team. We are blue team. So they are more smart than us. They are learning more. They are more educated also. And number five is insider threat. Insider threat is big threat nowadays, which is critical. So top five is ransomware, phishing, data leakage, hacking, and insider threats. These are the top five threats. But how to mitigate? We don't have another option of hybrid working. How to mitigate? So we have. I want to tell you in 5, 6, 7 policies what do we need to implement in every organization, and what we are advising to all CISO also. Develop the cybersecurity policy for remote users, because earlier cybersecurity policy was only office users. Now we need to develop cybersecurity for remote users. Choose the remote access software, because nowadays also issuing laptop and giving laptop, they are pouring to your house. Choose the remote application software. There are some vulnerabilities there. Number three, we should use encryption. Encryption is must nowadays. Data should be encrypted. And number four, we should have password management software. They should not give any easy password for any of the tool, any of the applications. Number five, if you'll see, there should be 2-factor authentication or 3-factor authentication to be enabled in each and everything. Number six, if you will do, we should define which is least privilege or which is highest privilege. Okay, privilege. So accordingly, we should align everything. And number five, most critical is the training, cybersecurity training to all employees. My point: these are the 7 points we should ensure to increase to minimize the surface attack.
First of all, thanks, Dr. Deepak, for having me here. A quick introduction myself, Satish. In fact, I'm the CISO at InMobi Group. So, talking about attack surface, in fact, as you said the context very rightly. In fact, today, the way every enterprise is going through the digital transformation journey, while enterprises, definitely few of the enterprises have already gone to this journey and few are in this journey. So, in fact, cyber attacks, now just to take a little step back, while traditional organizations had the perimeter drawn and it was very confined to the organization, but today with cloud adoption, if I can use the word emerging technologies, cloud adoption, and the way it has, even the COVID has added fuel where employees need to work from home. So the cyber risk landscape has really expanded now. But while CISOs already had a challenge of, in fact, this whole emerging technologies, like because moving from on-prem to cloud, rather if you can use the word multi-cloud, hybrid cloud. So I think the more you expand, of course, it's great because the business need to be enabled with digital transformation. But having said that, equally the cyber risk landscape is also expanding. And to add to that, COVID has really added a new challenge where employees working from home, most of the IT companies and all, where employees working from home, the cyber risk landscape has extended even to the homes, in fact. So that's the, but having said that, that's how the CISOs are, the charter is basically to ensure that the organization is secured, the data is secured, and it's always an interesting way to see how, because cybersecurity, in my view, it's no more just a technology topic, because it's a business enabler, how we can help the business to ensure that we stay protected, we stay secure, and also resilient.
So
Wonderful.
I'll add to this thing.
Please, Srinivas.
So whatever everybody said is absolutely right. Okay. See, one thing is very critical that everybody understand that because of this pandemic, our perimeter is basically no longer exist. Our perimeter is extended to the cloud now. Now, many organizations have taken a transition to going to the cloud. It could be applications, it could be websites or whatever it is. But everybody in this whole thing of catering to the remote workforce and all those things is missing is the visibility. Okay, today, if you look at it, We buy a lot of tools, we buy a lot of things, we create processes, we create so many things. But where is the visibility? Who's monitoring it? What you see, that only you can protect. What you can't see, you can't protect. So if things are going wrong, if you don't have the visibility, how will you protect also? So that is a big challenge. Second most important, if you look at it today, like everybody said, ransomware attack is a bigger thing. But hackers are not targeting an individual. They are not targeting computers. They are not targeting systems. They are targeting the backup systems. Because today, irrespective whatever ransomware attack happens, your recovery point is your backup. Now, if your backup itself is compromised, you are dead. You don't have option. You have to pay from all these things. So if you look at it, this phishing attack, or you can talk about ransomware attack and all those things, all these people are gathering information and their main target is the backup. So still in India, we are lucky that still backup storages and softwares have been not attacked. But if you look at the European countries and American countries, there are many incidences where the attacks have happened at the backup systems. Okay, from that angle. So what I
Yes.
suggest today, we are still in a better mood to protect ourselves by protecting our backup system, which is our lifeline. Okay. Second most important, you deploy tool, but if there is no visibility, then how will you understand there is what is happening karke? So you look at
Mhm.
it, there are many organizations have gone ahead, but there is no visibility. So you need to have a
Mhm.
visibility tool, which is very, very critical. Now, the visibility tool to take care of the network traffic, cloud traffic, internal traffic, that is where the whole ball game lies. Now, the next thing which is going to come in the technology is how do you monitor the traffic which is onto the cloud as well as onto your network, onto your how do you segregate that? So that is the next big challenge which is going to face. So this is what my uh, some additional points to all these gentlemen.
Wonderful. So now we'll move to the second question. Everyone says that phishing is a commercial enterprise. So cyber criminals adapt to changes in consumer behavior just as legitimate business do. Do you agree on it? We'll start with Jagannath.
Yeah, phishing actually, phishing is the easiest way to any hack anything. Very easiest ways. There are a couple of phishing technology. We call it spear phishing, whaling, phishing, and email phishing. These are the technology they used to do. But here is we used to only our solution is to you have to give different phishing drill. Okay, phishing simulations and anti-phishing simulations, so that generally what we used to do, we used to offer any customer also, you many customer I offered free services along with the source services, MS services. I offered free services. Sir, I will give you the service free. You run it in your campaign in your organization. There we'll send a mail to 1,000 users and we'll see how many people are getting caught. For example, one company name is ICICI Bank. So I'll create one more domain. ICCA, something spelling mistake I'll do, I'll create one more domain. And I used to send bulk mail to all employee and used to find out how many employees getting caught in the phishing attack. Then used to tell management, see, this is the thing. And those employees, those who are getting caught, and they used to do special training to them. This is how we are facing, we are managing as of now. And I have given offered, if anybody want to do POC, I can offer the free of cost also for any customers. I can give you phishing service for 300, 500 users for your company, where we can check how many people are getting cut. And many phishing tool is available, anti-phishing tool is available in internet nowadays.
Yeah. So I want to add something here. What Jagannath had said. See, if you look at it, it's our human tendency, or you can talk about it's an Indian mentality. Wherever there is something called free, we tend to go faster there. Okay.
Yes.
And if you look at it today, being in IT and being CISOs and CIOs, we are to be blamed for that. Why? Because uh, we only give solutions to the businesses saying that you do campaign like this, you do campaign like this, and they use these kind of words to generate business. And indirectly, it is going to hit us. Okay. So that is one of the biggest challenge. So if you look at it, phishing attack is where hackers are gathering information. They don't want to target anybody or take anything. They just want to capture the information and keep it there. It will get activated whenever they feel like. So if you look at it from an angle, today, if you look at the phishing attack, could be email, could be mobile, could be attachment, could be photos or whatever it is, wherever it is, whatever it is. Wherever there is something called buy one, get one free, or you enjoy holidays from here, please click here and we'll give you more information. People tend to go there. So that is where the things have changed. So as a you, we need to train our people, we need to train our teams. Ki free is something which is very difficult. When there is free thing is there has to be something in the background which is basically trying to poke you or trying to figure it out. So once you understand these, I think you are at least 75% problem will minimize it. It will not get resolved, it will minimize it.
Sir, intent is we need to give awareness to the training, awareness to the employee, and exactly whatever you told. So HR is offering 20% increase in salary. HR is offering this facility. That's exactly this type of template used to choose while sending to the doing phishing campaign.
Perfect.
So that we'll able to catch actually, and this will create awareness. The intent is awareness, not blaming anybody or nobody pass or fail. We only to create awareness.
Perfect. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful.
No, and one more thing to add. So what Jagannath had said is absolutely very good. See, today we have this red team and blue team, and we also have a vulnerability assessment and all those things. But we are not doing assessment of our security infrastructure. All this thing is happening is to the application layer. It is happening into the user level. Is there a vulnerability assessment or basically attack simulation kind of a thing happening onto the firewall? Is it IPS or an email system which can generate these kind of things and figure out when the actual attack happens, will the system will be able to handle this? Because if you look at the red team and the blue team, they only target the individual which is inside the organization, and they use the mechanism to pass through these devices. But who's going to take care of these devices? So that is one of the things which is currently missing in the whole system. This is what my, whatever I have learned for around about 20, 30 years, this is what I'm coming down to.
Sir, can't we do like this? We can divide our inter-security organization into two pieces. One is red team, one is green team, and let us create a competition to find out who is winning. The right way to do this.
Not a bad idea, not a bad idea. So moving forward, we'll understand from Upkar. What do you say on it, Upkar?
Absolutely, Deepak ji. When we say that phishing is becoming a commercial enterprise, right? This is very true. And, we are seeing that, it is becoming a legitimate kind of business now. And cybercrime is evolving, if we see that. And there is no reason to think that cybercrime will increase after this or will decrease after this pandemic ends, right? So what we have seen all these years, that cybercrime has evolved from a hobby of an individual hacker to a highly organized international business network covering every aspects of cyber attack activities, including back market for stolen data. And with all this widespread adoption of cybercrime as a service model, a broad range of attack services can be purchased through cybercrime markets on the dark web or hacker forum with little technical expertise needed. This is the worry. And why this phishing as a commercial is becoming a safe haven for these hackers? There is a reason for it. Because the traditional phishing crimes or physical crime to steal money, like breaking into a house or business, leaves considerable evidence, including DNA, fingerprints, shoe prints, security cameras, recording, etc., etc. But in contrast, a cyber criminally obscures their identity and has a very low risk of getting arrested or going to jail. Right? That is why cyber criminals are maximizing the new opportunities related to these kind of phishing as a commercial enterprises.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Kapil, what you will say on it?
I have a little different opinion. See, in 25 years of my career, like I never able to stop phishing attack. I admit here in a public forum. Reason is hackers are smarter than the tool and smarter than us. What they do is you put the tool there, put the firewall rules there, you put any technology, IP, IDS, immediately your CEO will get an email after spending 2-3 CR on the security. He will still get an email from the whitelisted domain. Your CFO wants a transfer $50,000. And this is surprise to me, like why we are not able to recon those domains actually, why these tools are, they are heavily artificial intelligence and everything is there. Like post that, still a direct mail is going to your server, bypassing all the filters, your rules, everything. So I'm so sorry. I'm saying is I'm failed because if my CEO is getting email, phishing attack email, I'm failed. Though I have given education, forward is coming to me and ask with a question and asking why it is so now. And CFO is getting this mail and again he is asking so now. What more investment you want from us? So there are problems. Guys, we should accept that. There is no shame in that, right? But awareness is most important. Phishing is top. Reason is because that's the first entry point. One day my emotion will meet with your email and that will be the D-Day.
Perfect.
Any user, let's say you have a 5,000 user, 10,000 user in the organization, एक तो click करेगा ही, कभी ना कभी, right? And what they do is there are thousands of sites available. What they do, they create exact your domain, your email ID, your boss email ID, and they're sending it. And from the whitelisted domain, it is coming an exact mail and signature. So they are doing, I mean, they already done the recognition in your system servers and the mail server and all. They know the signature, they know the person name, and they have already LinkedIn checked LinkedIn, your website, and everything they have recon. So there we get failed. The solution of this thing is before doing execution of anything, right? We have to look at each other as a suspicious way and do the due diligence, and that's your awareness. Whenever your any request is coming, and let's say there is a discussion going on, there is an approval mail is just awaited, and all of a sudden you got a hacker's email. Maybe he is watching you from the back door, and he taken the advantage of that situation, and the mail came. I give you the example. In Assam, one of my uh, collection guys' email got compromised, and he was supposed to get the money from the Dubai guy, right? And all of a sudden, Dubai guy got the email from his email ID, which we have seen the logs, which no outside India was login, and that day nothing was happened. He did not logged it, but they have used the domain cloning, and from there, like they have did the mail. And this guy about to transfer, but he immediately said, "Why these guys are asking for a different account number?" Right? And immediately a confirmation mail came to the operation. Then I got to know this is a happen, right? So exactly, they are sitting in your network, they are watching you, and any day, whenever they need execution, they are executing it. Despite having all the tools and the technology in place and the awareness in place, they are doing it. So guys, time has been changed because they are 30 times ahead you. They are thinking that ways, like the time you will reach there, they will go further. So my submission is like we have to have very conscious driving the business because IT is an enabler. As an enabler, our duty is basically make aware and stop these things. Over to you.
Good. And I think Airtel Enterprise Security can give some solution to it.
Yeah, sir. We have been giving some solution to all the customers. Actually, if you see total cyber security, we used to divide into surface tab, deep surface web, deep web, and dark web. And hackers work on the dark web. So we used to give dark web solution to many customers also, and that personally I'm handling. I'm not giving to any project manager. So I'm getting from my partner. I used to get alert from every day. This data is getting leaked. This site is getting leaked. Even if 2 days back I got a one of the banking customer also. I got a one bank is there. So they have created SMTP service of different same bank. ABC, suppose they have added something before and after they have created the service. So immediately customer is doing to take down the service, because until unless you take down means we have to reach to the exactly server owner and we have to take down that. Otherwise, sometime it will get hacked. So that also we are working and we are advising to all customers, and particularly I'm closely working on the dark web part nowadays. It is very critical, but because dark web is the only portion where hackers is working, and it is deep sea, inside the deep sea.
Yeah. So we at SoftCell also, we give a lot of services to customers, enterprise customers, where we give our experience handling BFSI customers like Axis Bank and Yes Bank, and as well as HDFC Bank, how they are protecting, what kind of policies they are doing, how they're getting trained. Because if you look at it, uh, BFSI segment is more paranoid from the security point of view. They had deployed a lot of things. There are many organizations, they don't have a CISO also. Okay. So for hackers, they are a sitting duck. Okay. And they don't want to basically capture any information from them, but through them, they want to go and reach to these banks. So that is what is also one of the criteria. So like how Kapil said, we had one case in one of the biggest bank. One employee joined in Salt Lake, Calcutta, and he produced a letter from the MD saying that please appoint this guy in this thing karke. So the Salt Lake branch manager, he appointed him, did the whole thing. HR also agreed. HR process and everything is completed. He got onboarded. After on about onboarding, orientation, everything was completed, and finally after 3 months, HR had intimated MD saying that you have nominated one person and we have hired him. He says, I never nominated anybody. And then it went back, and then everybody figured out that is a phishing mail, and through that everything has happened, all these things karke. So if you look, if you look at it, nobody's targeting the main people. They're targeting the people who don't understand anything.
Understand, correct. I totally
So
agree.
that is what is it. That is very critical. Okay, so we at a SoftCell, we give these kind of services. So when we do assessment, we first would sit with your team. We basically analyze, we understand what is your IP, how do you operate, what kind of controls you have, what additional controls can be added, where are the loopholes in your processes, because the process kills you a lot. There are many cases where you deviate a process, so you get a email or a phone call from your MD or a CFO, I want this thing immediately, and then you deviate a process, and that deviate a process is sometimes is going to hit you. So these things are happening. So we do these kind of due diligence, and then we say, yes, we'll try to reduce it as far as possible. Okay, we'll also do these kind of things in a particular or regular manner. And most important thing is visibility. Network visibility is one of the biggest important thing. So that's why we says we lot of time we ask customers to deploy network visibility tool like vRealize Operation Manager or V something from a VMware, which can give you a in-depth analysis of your complete network. What is which protocol which is going and how it is going. See, there are things like a specific machine which is not communicating to anybody for last 6 months start communicating on one of the protocol. Why? So somebody should alert, right? This is something which is abnormal, right? So these has to be monitored, not how many attacks are happening on my firewall, how many are mitigated. That is not the concern at all. And these things are missing in many organizations. So that is where SoftCell's advantage, and SoftCell starts working with the most of the enterprises.
It has been always a challenge, in fact, because one of the, I call it one of the weakest link is human. In fact, I'm sure the whole audience will, means all of us know the social engineering attacks, what we have been talking since the early adoption. In fact, many enterprises, while of course we all technology community, we spend a lot of time, money, efforts in putting a lot of technical controls. But if people are not aware, in fact, most of the phishing today, the phishing has taken a new complete, if I can use the word, it's more spear phishing. It's very, very targeted. In fact, it's no more just those Nigerian mails or standard emails, what is gone. It's very, very targeted phishing. I'm sure we all know, right? Without naming, it was there in the media, like one of the large enterprise, right? The CEO, there was a spear phishing mail to CFO. It was so crafted that as if it is coming from the CEO to make certain payment, and the payment was done. In fact, so today, spear phishing is definitely one of the biggest challenge. I think the only control, in my opinion, is, or rather, of course, we all understand it is the security awareness. So I think while we talk of technology, we talk of processes, we also emphasize a lot on people awareness. In fact, I think that's where today many enterprises are not only spending money on improving awareness, but they also do a lot of anti-phishing exercises to see how prepared are employees and are they still falling prey. And of course, the continuous reinforcement of learning is very, very essential. That is the only way how we can counter phishing attacks.
So finally, I have got the question like ransomware as a service. Everybody is aware of RAS is a business model by ransomware developer in which they lease ransomware variants in the same way that legitimate software developers lease SaaS products. What you take in it, but you have to respond in 1 minute. To start with Upkar.
Yeah, thank you. Deepak, we all know that ransomware is a malware that encrypts a system and only enable access to the data again if the victim pays a ransom. Right? Common distribution channel for ransom are spam mail, phishing, and drive-by exploits. They take advantage of vulnerabilities in browser plugins, operating system, network services. The threat scenario has changed now. Ransomware is now created and operated by professional infrastructures. They operate for profit and at least as efficiently as the company and organization they target. Faced with the new threat, the latter need to rethink when it comes to protecting their infrastructure. We need to plan that. Ransomware as a service is an adoption of software as a service business model. Like SaaS solution, RAS user don't need to be skilled or even experienced to proficiently use that tool. RAS solution therefore empower even the most novel hackers, even entry level, to execute highly sophisticated cyber attacks. This is becoming so easier. And one important reason for the great success of ransomware is the increasing spread of cloud infrastructure. On the other hand, attackers use cloud service themselves, and on the second hand, they benefit from the larger attack surface that companies offer, even more so in the age of work from home or say remote work. And another reason I believe is a lack of updates or incorrect configuration in this corporate IT world. And just to end with this, as per a study, over 60% of known ransomware attacks in 2020 have been attributed to RAS model, a highly competitive but growing market.
Perfect.
This is my take.
By next, you can choose who will speak. The President Jagannath.
Yeah, I'll tell.
You should speak.
Yeah, I'll tell you about this ransomware discussion is going on. I'll tell what are the top risks which will create ransomware attack. Number one, the device is no longer out of state of art. The device Windows 7 we are using, suppose, and so outdated softwares. Browsers operating system no longer patched. This will attract ransomware attacks. No proper backup. If everything is there, ultimate solution is backup. If you have ransomware attack, you can clean the system, you can come back, but you should have backup. And insufficient attention to pay to the cyber security. These are the top 5 reasons which will bring risk towards ransomware attack. I'm recovering even no longer state of art devices. and outdated software, browser and operating system not patched, no proper backup plans, and insufficient attention by of cybersecurity. These are the things risk for cyber the ransomware attack. But how to protect? So I have told the risk and how to come back from that. So a couple of things there. Prepare your company, prefer your company devices. Always ask remote user to use the company device only, not other devices. Control access. You should have access to the control. Everybody should not have read write access. Everybody. So you should have review mechanism to control access. And third thing, cyber awareness training for all employees. Avoid. So we are every time we are discussing awareness because awareness is the only option we have in this forum. And avoid sharing sensitive data over email. Retrieving nowadays, I have seen whenever I'm getting any data from any OEM, they are not sending on email. They are sending in their in bucket, some bucket they are sending, and from there I need to download. So they are avoiding on emails. Avoiding they're reviewing data logs through many SIEM software and others. Avoiding public Wi-Fi networks where it attacks. So always recommended to join. Even if you are joining public Wi-Fi, you should connect to VPN. So data at least somehow it will be saved. Analyze the third-party vendor risk. Third-party vendor risk also is a big thing. We are nowadays we are not doing. We should do all the third-party vendor risk management.
Good.
So,
Ukar, you have done like Kapil. You have to add something.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting model actually, and it's open for everyone. As name is very clear, ransom as a service. But this service will cost you because one side you can basically go and pay the 10,000 rupees, the $10,000 to buy a one ransomware virus, which is the minimum ransomware cost is. And another thing is there is a game for the branded ransom as well, known ransom, and there are unbranded. Unbranded means they are more dangerous and they don't have any name. Right, that's a very interesting game changer, which is I've seen is in my recent past experience, 2 months experience, what I had it recently with the ransom or what kind of ransom and what capacity of the ransom is. So I found like more now these days what hackers are doing is they are targeting one ransom first, right, which is unknown. Probably you may not find the decrypt key of that. Right, that is why they are basic because there is an ethical hacker team, the red team and white team, as we were talking about. Similarly, ethical hackers is also there. Whenever they found any new ransom or new variant, they are immediately doing the decryption of the tool. Similarly, but what they change the plan. If you buy ransom from the RAS, so you have an option branded or unbranded where you can download the unbranded, but they will be costlier one because uska tod nahi hai. It's like a poison, cyanide, or you lower version of it, similar like that, right? So so what the hackers are doing is, first of all, they are sending that ransom, and because that is not having digital footprint available, signature available all across, so easily they can target any organization. And then over on that above, after a week, again the attack will happen with the branded one, and that will be bigger one, right? This is, let's say, 64-bit pay encryption happened, and then over on that encryption plus lock. Getting it? So what is the philosophy of the ransom? First of all, try to understand. It's not only that we want to decrypt your data. They are challenging you. Ransom is the last resort. Boss, I have taken out your data. Goodbye. You wish to bring back your data from me? Pay. That's a goodbye note. Ransom means goodbye note, right? They were sitting in your network and they were doing the fiddling with your network, and they have collected all the credentials, they have collected all the information, then they are attacking on you. And they are leaving the trail, say goodbye, we are moving out, and now your wish. And the first note you will get it in the first day of attack, and after a week, maybe another attack will be happened. You might not knowing it, and they will basically over encrypt and they will go. अगर एक हफ्ते में आपने action नहीं लिया, it means data is not probably important for you, right? So they may go away. and they can publish that data. They can openly sell that your data, whatever feasible for them, they will start activity. So ransom is a serious cause. We all should basically immediately take action. We should not basically wait and some company has to come and some investigation will start. Start action. Do not delay. It's a very dangerous thing. Okay. Over to you.
Okay. Srinivas.
Yeah, so I agree with everybody, but my take is slightly different on this. That everybody knows that we cannot stop ransomware attack because these attackers are way ahead of us. Like how Kapil said, they're too smart. Okay. So then what is the option we have? The option is whatever data is critical, it has to be backed up. So we should have some kind of a backup mechanism with us. Second is we should have some kind of a visibility with us. Okay. So with the visibility, at least we know, yeah, there is a ransomware attack happening. If the ransomware attack is happening, then we should have mechanism or the system such a way they will deploy or they will put a control such a way that it can go to the perimeter level. So that is where zero trust network comes into picture. So it is not only the endpoint security. It has to be endpoint security, network security, firewall security, IPS, even the anti-APT, everything. All these has to be linked with one to take the decision. And for that, the AI ML is a part of it. Okay. So once you have this, irrespective you have an attack or irrespective whatever it is, you have still recovery because you still have the backup. Okay. So you
Just to add to this, Srinivas, related to backup only, not only having backup, it has to be available offsite of the network.
absolutely.
Right? And also the recovery test, regular recovery test. But what I have seen in one such case where they got attacked by ransomware, but while recovering, they found that it is not getting recovered.
Yeah. So it's a different topic itself for backup.
Yes.
Because there are organizations who are taking backups and backup, but they have still not recovered. And they also don't know how much data and which is hot data and cold data, but still they are taking the backup. So that's a different scenario itself, and that's a different topic itself. So we can have one more kind of a WebEx session on this thing, which can take one more on a backup scenario also.
Yeah, that is important. And the same thing happened with one of the largest PSU in the country.
Yeah, I know.
It took, I think they were trying hard to get their SAP data, but they could not.
Yeah, because see, if I remember, I have done one assessment on about 6 to 8 months back, and that customer is taking a backup of about 3 petabyte. Not sorry, 3 terabyte daily backup, and out of that, only 15% data is hot data. Remaining data is a useless data. Now you understand how much cost saving it would have happened if you have deleted or if you have removed it and put it into archive, something like that. So this is the scenario. So that's a different topic itself for us to discuss.
Yes, that is different. Yeah.
So my logic behind this is, irrespective whatever we do, whatever we trained, tomorrow it is our internal people only who's going to click on that and the ransomware is going to hit. Only thing is, we should be able to visualize it. There should be a mechanism to protect it one shot, and we should have a recovery available, which is the backup recovery. So if you have these three things, at least you are 80 to 90% covered from that angle. After that, yeah. So, and after that, dark web monitoring is where that data, whatever is gone, to take down that service, that's a different scenario. That has to be there. But this has to be deployed. Today, the organizations are taking the EDR, but the EDR is not connected to their firewall. EDR is not connected, linked to the IPS. EDR is not connected to your APT. Then what is the point? So tomorrow something goes wrong, EDR alerts you, somebody goes and update, take the decision to all these four, at least 2 months or 3 months have gone. And by the time the whole thing is gone. So this is the current stage.
Ransomware always has been one of the biggest, in fact, challenge or risk. If you look at the last few years, now thanks to, of course, especially with the way industry is moving and with COVID adding a lot of employees working from home. And because the point is the channels have increased. So that's one site where ransomware attacks, we suddenly see there's a lot of huge spike in ransomware attacks in the last maybe 2 years. We saw, of course, a lot of threat reports started reporting saying that the rise in ransomware attacks. But pointing back to ransomware as a service, absolutely, in fact, that's getting very deeper now, in the sense, if you look at the whole model of ransomware, traditionally, the adversary or the attacker groups were trying to encrypt the corporate data and asking for ransom. Of course, if you pay ransom, the key will be given. If you don't pay ransom, because so organizations who were challenged with there's no data backup, and now your data is unusable, there's a customer commitment, loss of business. So definitely, I think you are, there's no other choice to other than paying ransom. But now these ransomware as service kind of services, in fact, going a little step forward, they also have become so sophisticated. Now that's what we call advanced persistent threats. In the sense, these attacker groups are not only, so what their modus operandi now, they first take the data out of the enterprise, they encrypt, and then they are asking you for ransom. Now I call it as double ransom. Now you may say, okay, I will not pay ransom because I have data, I will restore it. Now I don't care for you. Okay, fine. So the first ransom, you're not. So then these guys come back and say, okay, fine. Now we understand you have data backup, you don't want to pay us to, but now the second ransom is now they send you a sample of data saying that this data is already in my custody. Now we already taken this data out of your organization. Now it can be card data, sensor data, healthcare data, which, see, it's not just about your organization business, but it's also reputation loss or customer confidence. So they can say, okay, now the second ransom is if you don't pay me yet, I know you have backup, your business operations are not getting impacted, but then the second ransom is you either pay me ransom or this data, I will put it in the dark web, or we will anyway make money. So the point is, attacker group says that, okay, now we will make money through exposing this data, putting into the dark web or in some other public channel, which there's a reputation loss. So I think that's the biggest challenge today, organizations. So that's where, as a CISO, normally in a lot of CISO community, we talk about, traditionally CISOs has been focused on prevention protection. But today, I think we all know that, like these ransomware attacks, see, typically it happens over a period of time. It's not, it happens over, like, typically the advanced persistent threats, it starts somewhere 3 months back, 4 months back. We call it as dwell time. In fact, so in the whole dwell time, or in the whole attackers which already inside the organization, they're taking data out. So I think you have to improve the detective capabilities and response capabilities, so that, so before the data goes out, if I can detect that adversary group, and in fact, we can stop that, whether it stop that attack or stop data going out, I think that's the only way how, otherwise this whole ransomware as a service, or overall the whole ransomware, is getting very sophisticated. And it's definitely one of the biggest risks for enterprises, especially in the current context, where the attack surface has completely changed. And that's one of the, and we saw, of course, already we saw, like the Cognizant, maybe the Maze ransomware attack, or how it created, it's all, and of course go back to the traditional WannaCry and all that, and it is increasing day by day.
So it is a really great input and wonderful, and thank you all the panelists for sharing the wisdom. I would say it is a great knowledge and awareness, and also scary. All enterprises has to get ready, and I should have most of the enterprise, they should have one CISO at least. At least it will create an awareness. I was just suggesting to one of the court, every court also, they should have one CISO. At least they will have awareness and spread the things across the country. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Indeed, a great panel discussion session. Each panelist has shared good insights and best practices, which is absolutely the need of the hour. It is also a learning curve for me too. In a nutshell, it's the security and the process that needs to be followed as the thumb rule. Let's move on to the most exciting, eye-opening corporate presentation sessions, followed by several other announcements during the rest of the session.